Welcome to Positive Waves. My name is Matthew Collinson.
I'm Joseph Somma.
I hope you enjoy today's episode. Today we're going to talk about resetting the brain, resetting like your heart and soul. How do you do that? What is the reasoning for doing that? And why should you be okay with not doing anything sometimes? Because I think that's an important chunk of this.
Well, I like the whole not doing anything sometimes. That's the ultimate relaxing of everything, just stopping and taking that time for yourself. But yeah, the resetting of the brain and the heart. I mean, for those two, they came fairly easy. There's quite a few things, but when I started thinking about resetting the soul, that one stumped me. I had to think for a little bit on that one, and really setting the soul, it goes back to some of our previous chats of literally meditation. Meditation was the big thing that I kept coming back to when thinking of resetting the soul. But I'm curious to what you do, Matthew.
Well, much the same as you, I'm sure, but I also had like nature and grounding, as you know, and just looking around, listening, being happy, letting it all go, both future and past. Like a lot of times I feel like, let's start with the brain first, since it's more physical. I think a lot of times when we speak of energy, it's hard to understand because, and I feel it's been used a lot too. It's kind of esoteric, and you have to kind of wrap your head around it and kind of imagine. And when you can get into the state of being and letting go of everything, past, present, and future, you can come into this place where you're starting at zero. It's like being born again almost. It really is, because you're just looking at everything like it's the first time. So when we gather all this knowledge, it builds up, it builds up, it builds up. And have you ever heard the term empty your cup?
Of course.
Very much the same thing. I feel like all of our pieces are always learning constantly, like in life. So once it learns a certain amount of stuff, it needs to think about it, I guess, would be a good word for it. It needs to settle. It needs to do what it can from everything in your past that it's learned. And this can go with all of them, by the way, the brain, heart, and soul, I feel. So once you've learned so much, you have to empty your cup. Because if you don't empty your cup, it's going to be very difficult to learn more.
Right, and that's kind of what we do with Reiki. We have to release the old, what's no longer serving our highest good, to allow what's next to come in, what's bigger, what's better. And it's, for me, some of these things we're discussing, it's, you take them on, you learn them, they sit there, they're fresh in your mind. But I almost feel that when you do them so often, they become a routine, and that no longer sits fresh in the mind. It becomes almost like an involuntary action. Like we just know how to do it, when to do it, why we're doing it, and it becomes a second nature type of thing. So as we're integrating these new mindsets, we are creating these new habits and these new routines to live that better life, to reach that highest good.
Yes, I agree. I think that's a piece of it for sure. When we're trying to go towards our highest good, or whether we're trying to go to whatever vision we're going towards, really, I think it's important for us to take a moment and breathe. The reason why is because if we choose to have the awareness that we can create our future by creating these daily habits so that we can create some ultimate outcome, which I believe all humans are capable of, and they have the infinite potential to create what they want and we want in this world. I prefer to work with people who are very soul set and want to really change the world in a positive way. So I only work with those kinds of people. but I feel like that every dream is just as important as the next. Now I'm becoming this persona of your dream concierge and dream creator, and figuring out all the steps it takes for people to get from not being capable of even dreaming, like they don't even know they can dream. So you have to bring an awareness that you can dream anytime you want. But once you start to learn this stuff, you're going to have to go through a few reset periods, because you get to an awareness level where you're like, oh shit, I know what I can do now. And all of a sudden you start snapping. And once you've learned to reset that brain, reset that pattern, it's not just letting go of the stuff that doesn't work, it's bringing in the stuff that does work.
Right. And we keep using the term reset a lot. And just for the viewers' well-being, I would like to read this little something about, what does it mean to reset? Resetting isn't about beating yourself up, feeling bad, or staying stuck. A reset is about embracing a positive attitude towards change and finding opportunities for personal growth, even in the hardest of times. So like you're saying there, Matthew, this reset is needed, even in the hardest of times. And it's I want to say it's simple, but I know in that moment, in that emotion, it is not always that simple. But as Matthew and I have learned, we've got these tools to help us see that it's truly as simple. So, don't beat yourself up, but take that moment to just reflect on it. Why is it, so frustrating? Is it sitting with your soul? Is it sitting with your passion? Is it, something that you truly want to do? And if not, then that's time to reset and move into what's going to be best for you. Staying in that negative mindset about whatever it is you're going through or whatever it is you want to move into, it's not going to benefit you. Recognize it and move forward. Allow that reset to occur and put yourself back on that path to achieve what it is you wish to achieve.
Yes. I love that very much. I think that self-care is uber important here. This is where the balance comes into play with our lives.
That probably also fits with resetting the heart space too.
All of it really, it all comes back to the same stuff for resetting everything. It's like turning off your computer and turning it back on when it's not working, or your phone.
Right, it's glitching.
Yeah, it's glitching.
What are you doing? Respond, damn it.
Exactly. So that when you turn it off and you turn it back on, it tends to run a lot more smooth. That's exactly what we're doing here, is you're learning to turn yourself off, kind of, to turn yourself back on and like go harder.
Right. Yeah.
I think
I've got this vision in my head of what I want to say, but the words aren't just coming together just right for me. But
take a deep breath.
Reset, right? It's for the resetting. It's literally just that. It's hitting that glitch, hitting that tough spot, hitting that moment of frustration, and just realizing, oh yeah, I don't have to sit in this. Let me meditate a second. Let me shift my mindset. Let me go listen to some soothing music or whatever it is you need to do to allow yourself to calm and realize that that's just a moment in time. It doesn't have to remain. Resetting yourself and allowing yourself to reboot and get back onto that right path, that positive trail, learn that lesson of, whatever it was you just went through, and continue moving forward.
You just hit the nail on the head. I wanted to say a question you can ask yourself is, what are you learning from this? And it can be a very hard situation. What is it teaching you, though? And it might start off in a, I want to say, hard manner or a negative manner even. You might be like, well, it's just teaching me not to be an idiot, or something like that. But I want you to go deeper than that. Anybody who chooses to do this exercise, what are you learning from this experience? Go real deep and try to, like, even get out a notepad and write what it is you're learning about yourself, about the situation, How would you handle it differently the next time it comes around? How would you like to handle it in a positive way? Like, you have to ask yourself these kinds of questions as opposed to really beating yourself up. And that's giving yourself grace as well. So you like forgive yourself for some of the stuff you've done. We're human. We all make mistakes big time.
Yep. Yeah. No, mistakes is really just a shit word. I mean, we're taught from a young age that mistakes are bad, and we should punish our own selves from it. So that's where we need to reset the brain, because now we're beating ourselves up for something that we should be looking at as a learning lesson. What do I do to not do this again? I don't like how this feels, or I don't like this situation it got me into, and having that conscious awareness to not want to stay there, reset yourself, move out of that space.
I think it's important for our energy too, like because we know the heart's like an electromagnet. Like, it's been scientifically proven. It's been believed upon for thousands of years. It causes this field around you, and I think it's really interesting to play with that, because as you go through the different emotions will depend on how big your field is and whether it's like pulling in or going out. And that catabolic side of it, the going in part of it, comes from the stressors, comes from the side that is harder. I think both sides are pretty hard to play with, actually, thinking about it, because I mean, I have found a much easier time with life being in the positive realm, but I was in the negative realm for a very long time. So
You appreciate the positive more.
yeah,
the duality of life. You gotta go through the rough stuff to learn the positive aspects of it. And the deeper, darker places you tend to find yourself, you can bounce back into an equally opposite area of love and light.
comes back to that growth mindset, knowing that you can grow. Once you have the awareness that you can grow, you can't really change. Like, you can't say no, you can't, but you can, because you have a brain. We create grooves in the brain, and we do that by our daily habits. So you can really change any piece of you as you go along in life.
Really, I was talking with a friend yesterday how in another course I'm in, the Diamond Matrix Masters, really, when you start thinking about the whole judgment aspect of life, we realize that we are literally a label maker. We are labeling everything we do. And that's one of the hardest things to change, is labeling everything, and to be able to have that growth mindset and be open enough to accept that we can continue moving up, moving forward, however you want to view it. If you can remove that label making mentality, you'll be able to move through things quicker, easier, better. You don't have to, label it as yours and carry it with you. It's unneeded. So just what you said just made that pop into my mind about just us literally being a label maker.
I love that you said that, because that reminds me of the Tao Te Ching so much. Have you read that yet?
No.
It's 81 verses, man. You got to pick up a copy. There's all kinds of different translations. It's from China from like 3,500 years ago by a guy named
The Tao?
The Tao Te Ching. So it's Taote Ching, Ching. At least that's one variation. I've seen a couple. But I liked Wayne Dyer's. He did a pretty good job kind of analyzing it. He sat with it for a year and went through 4 verses, or 1 verse every 4 days, and then wrote something about it. It's called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, I believe, by Wayne Dyer. That one was a pretty good translation, and he makes a lot of good points about it for a first go. But I have like 3 different copies, and they all have different interpretations. So what's that?
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of fun to play with, but regardless, it all kind of comes back to the same base, and that is, if you can name the Tao, that is no longer the Tao. it's like whenever you put a name to something, it becomes not what it actually is. Like even calling us humans doesn't make us humans. I like how one of our friends puts it and says we're little antennas that are walking around the planet, because we are little antennas walking around the planet. It's so crazy to think about that kind of stuff to me, because that means we're all part of the same thing here, guys. They're like the strife, the turmoil, the stuff that we brought from labeling, like all it's done is hurt a lot of our species. We're the only species that kills each other off, like without thinking about it. And it's just like, I'm not trying to go into a dark space here or anything, but if we have an awareness that we have a choice, then we have a choice to live in a better way. And if we have a choice to live in a better way, then let's do that together. Like, let's walk hand in hand and like go like learn all we want to learn, explore all we want to explore, travel all we want to travel, do everything we ever wanted to do, and work together to get there. Because if we can do that, this whole world will change in a positive way.
Right. So how do we get the masses to reset? Because I know I wasn't ready for my spiritual awakening until I was, going through it. And I just know it's difficult to want to push the masses to live the positive side. They're still broken, and broken people create more broken people, and the whole misery loves company mentality. Like, if I've always had this idea is if we could teach from a young age these positive aspects towards life, teach kids how to meditate, how to breathe, how to accept others for who they are, and all of that, I think that would totally change. But it would have to start with that generation, because all of us broken people that aren't ready to face those fears and heal those traumas, we're not going to be on the same page of wanting that best life, wanting to heal, because we're going to have those triggers, we're going to have those fears, we're not going to want to step into whatever it is because of whatever mindset we're coming from. So this is one of those, got to start young, got to teach our kids, got to be the good role model, do the best we can to teach them that it's okay if someone is different than you. You can still love and respect them for who they are.
That seems important to you.
Yeah, it's one of those big dreams I'm building.
What's it look like?
Well, I've got the idea of it being like a school. Basically, we would teach the children how to be respectful, how to not put labels on others, how to not judge them just from their appearance, how to just accept one another for who they present themselves to be in that moment. Because we all have bad days, but that bad day can ripple into somebody else and create them to have a bad day, because whatever's going on in your world just affected theirs, and now they're gonna have a bad reaction and create more bad reactions. And it's, if we can learn how to accept that that's just that moment, that's not how it is, that's not how they feel about you, unless they physically say this is how I feel about you. But even then, you don't have to take it. That's their opinion. You don't have to own it. You don't have to hold it. And teaching these type of mannerisms to help children navigate through school, just imagine how much bullying would no longer affect people. Just that alone is gotten me wanting to get this up and going. It's just how I don't have that like teacher education. I don't have the funds at the moment to get it off the ground. So for me, it's still dreaming it, it's still visioning it, it's still fine tuning the details in my head and knowing that eventually this will happen. Just when.
Well, knowing that it will happen piece is the most important part, because the hows just come with time. Like, that's not really the important part. Anyone who's focused on a how right now, like, don't worry about the how. You just step forward and do what you can right now. And I think it will help you at least get your steps on your way and not worry about it. It relieves a little bit of stress if you just like That's why I like the law of attraction stuff a little bit, even though I know like it needs to be deeper than what we have in the current readings and books that I've read and videos and stuff. I think that it goes a little deeper. You have to truly feel this calmness. I feel it's just a knowing. It's faith almost. It's like this is happening. So cool. I'm ready. Whenever you're ready for me, you know, I say universe. So, you know, whenever you're ready to give it to me, universe, I'm here and I'm waiting, ready to go. Let me know when I can do that. And for some reason, things just seem to work out. And I don't know why that is. And it's only really been the past couple of years that things just seem to be starting to work in the direction in which I imagined. But I've been imagining a long time.
Right. Yeah. And that's the tough part too, is going from imagining or dreaming that creation and then stepping into it. That whole stepping into it is a fearful thing. And most of us humans, we tend to run from fear or freeze in the face of fear. So being able to just have that faith to step forth, no matter how small the step is towards the goal, it's beneficial.
Yeah, that's well, exactly what we're doing here, though. This is positive waves, right? This was a pure imagination just a little while ago. Now we've done half a dozen episodes or so, you know, and it's heading towards that direction of creating a positive ripple effect. But it started with a thought, and now we've taken it to action, and now we're doing the daily actions that it takes to get there. Granted, I got to get the videos up a little bit faster, but that's, you know, we all have that struggle sometimes.
So really, we need to start visioning a video editing person to come in and assist.
Ooh, good one, man. Yeah, I would love to just to be able to send it. Actually, I think we can. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, back to positive waves. The episode for you folks, which is all about resetting. All of this stuff comes back to that, though. It really does, because when we've gone so long with learning, we have to decompress. We have to learn how to let go in order to move forward in a more smooth path. So all these exercises we've given you throughout here should help you at least start gearing your life towards an awareness of I can learn. What do I want to learn next? Because then you at least have a direction to go or to pay attention to.
Right. And don't worry about how big or small it is when you do start. I mean, I prefer starting off with the small baby steps. That way, every little thing you do is an achievement, and that builds your confidence to tackle bigger and better things. So that whole fear aspect of moving forward is kind of deleted because you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, that's a huge step. Like you can't climb a mountain in one step. It takes many. So having that little victory after little victory after little victory slowly builds up, and you get bigger and bigger victories. The next thing you know, you're conquering mountains, and you don't have that fear that you once, trembled in your shoes about.
Joe, I would like you to pull a card.
I'm flipping through them right now.
That's funny.
So yeah, one thing I wanted to ask you though, for like a resetting of the heart space, do you think setting boundaries would be a possible reset? Because you're kind of stating, I take this no more, I won't accept this, and you're setting that boundary to not allow it. But what do you think?
You do have to have boundaries. I think everyone should have boundaries. Like we have our personal bubble, we have our personal space, we have our personal time we need to ourselves. If you're not getting any of that, it makes life rather difficult. Ask my wife, like when she's working 2 jobs and and then does kid stuff, and then by the time we get to bed, we're going to bed, and it becomes very difficult on her, which is where like getting out of town and leaving for a few days comes into play, because then you leave your laptop, you leave your stuff, and You reset, you don't look at it anymore. You force yourself to not look. That's creating a boundary with your work. That's creating a boundary for yourself. But yes, boundaries are super important, I feel. So you're right. You're right on there.
Awesome. I like that. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mhm.
And for what I got for a card, simply says love on the one side. On the other side, it says get some, give some. It will cheer your ass up.
Yes.
No, it's just not zooming in good enough.
Yeah, not focusing. It's okay. We'll write it in the description. I like to get them in the descriptions if I can on the YouTubes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Super excited with that one because that is exactly it, man. It's all about the love in my book. Like if you can learn to love your life today, right now, right in this moment, then you're already many steps ahead of other people because focus on the wins, focus on the gratitudes, the daily wins specifically. You did something awesome today. You made it through. It could be you did something nice and smiled at somebody. Like just teensy little love and it will change your life to yourself.
Right. There's a video floating around out there in digital land, and he's some type of military forces. I don't remember which, might be Navy. I don't remember, he was in a white coat, and he was talking about if you do anything today, make your bed. Simple as that. Make your bed. You can have the worst freaking day ever, but when you come home, you know you did something. Your bed is made. And I kind of laughed when the first time I heard it, but I was like, you know what? Shits and giggles. Let's start. Let's see. And so I started. You know, I never used to make my bed. Blanket just laid all ruffled on the whatever. Started to make my bed. Look pretty. All right, cool, whatever. And couple low moments, couple bad days where shit just wasn't going that great. And I came home to like a nice made bed, and that was an amazing feeling. It's like, holy shit, something as small and simple as making your bed takes 2-3 minutes. And it changed my evening. So it became a new habit, a new daily routine. Another thing I wanted to throw out there too is affirmations. Affirmations are amazing for helping to reset and shift that mindset into a more positive aspect of life. I know.
Yeah. Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry.
I was just going to say, one of them my mentor gave me when I started doing a bunch of childhood trauma healings and things of that nature. I am willing to experience a little more love every day. And it's probably, yeah, it's on a sticky note hanging from pictures in my living room. So like literally hang them up on your mirror, hang them up in your living room, hang them up wherever you're going to see them on the regular. And it could be something as simple as I am enough, or I am more than enough. I am willing to experience a little more love every day was the one my mentor gave me. Love the life you live the life you love. That was the other one I really enjoyed. And that one hangs on my fridge. But it's a daily reminder. You walk past them and it helps to keep propelling you forward into that better mindset and help slow down the ability to fall backwards. If we don't have those reminders, it is so easy to fall back into what we were used to doing for so long because it became a regular routine. So shifting that routine is important, and affirmations is a way of doing it.
Yeah. All right. So that just reminded me, I do have an affirmation that I will share in just a moment, but it reminds me of what was said on that card, which is, what did it say? Get some, give some.
Yep.
All right, so get some, give some. I believe in giving energy before receiving energy. It just is a natural law. So one of mine is, yeah. Oh, that almost had it too.
Yeah.
Backgrounds. So mine is, I am radiating boundless love to all the families on earth now.
Beautiful.
I am radiating boundless love to all the families on earth now. Just repeating, you feel the energy leaving you to give that love to the entire world. It's like giving the planet a big hug, guys. So if you can do something, and if you're going to do it anyway, like affirmations, for instance, then you can give by just doing that kind of affirmation as well, without anyone knowing the wiser.
Yep.
They don't really need to know anyway. They'll feel it in some way, shape, or form. It's funny to watch the people around you as you start radiating boundless love. It's insane to watch. I very rarely have somebody come into my space of being other than my kids, but being like really on like that side of like yelling or negativity or people getting mad at each other. Like I just don't attract it anymore.
Right, that magnetism that the heart space pushes out just repels those negative energies, and slowly but surely, as you adapt into more of the heart space, you detract or detest or whatever, push away those negative energies. They tend to flee from your energy rather than run to it.
Affirmations are such a great reset because you're doing it right now. So you're already resetting. And if you're focused on that affirmation, that good, positive, optimistic affirmation that's going to get your butt moving, then that's a magic I'm in the now button.
Right.
Now, if you want to track that kind of stuff, me and Joe both have access to a tracker for you. So please contact one of us in our various ways. I'm on Facebook mostly. I think Joe is as well.
Right.
So feel free to message us or anything, and we can give you access to that. It's also in our description on any of our videos. So feel free to come and play, and we can teach you how to use these tools, and you can track your like affirmations, your goals, your habits, and that kind of thing. And that's a smart play when it comes to your personal development. So
Throw a plug out there for Darla too. If you're serious about shifting your world, Darla does the art of learning self-love, which I started a while ago, and I kind of fell off, and now I've gotten back into it. And just her course definitely helps you see a lot of yourself that you may be too scared to see or not sure how to even see it. So if you're willing to dive deep into that heart space and transform your life, definitely check out Darla Williams, The Art of Learning Self-Love.
yeah, contact Joe to get access to that, because I think if you actually want to go to a live thing of that master class, is it
Right.
that's on
under Mastermind.
Yeah, that's on Saturdays at 8 a.m. PST time. So again, holler at Joe to get any information on how to get access to that. The Art of Learning Self-Love is an amazing course, and Darla is an awesome human being, one of the most loving souls I've ever met. So definitely check her out. Anyway, thank you for joining us on Positive Waves. I hope you reset well, and those are cats. They're telling us not to end yet, guys. No, I'm kidding. I hope you guys all have a great day and have a magical life.
Thank you, Matthew. Have a great day, dude.